Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the roundup. Welcome, Bobcats. So excited to see you. I'm going to ask the panelists to come on up to the seat. It's easy to get lost back there. Fly. Come on, come on. Well, like you said, my name's Judy Oscom, and I'm super proud to be here and recognize some of my grad students in the crowd, and Cindy Royal, who runs our digital media innovation lab, our media innovation lab. But as a professor and a podcaster, I love sharing stories about what's next. And South by is all about what's next. At Texas State, the spirit of discovery is happening across many fields, from artificial intelligence and data science to sustainable materials and advanced scientific computing. Researchers like these guys up here that you're going to hear from are exploring ideas that shape the future. And those ideas are becoming and moving beyond the lab. They're becoming partnerships, new technologies, and startups. Today, you'll hear from faculty who mentor students who push the boundaries of science. You'll also hear from a Texas State alum on the end who turned his research journey into a startup and is now based at Star Park. Before we dive in, I'm going to ask each of my panelists to introduce themselves and then tell us what problem in the world they're most motivated to solve. We'll start with you, Tahir.
Thank you, Julia, for the introduction. I hope the mic is working. That's fine. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I see lots of friends, future friends. And this is Tahir again. I'm a professor at Skillshare Business Analytics. I'm also serving as the founding director for Texas State Center for Analytics and Data Science. So, what I do, I have background in applied statistics and decision sciences. I have been working on fraud analytics for a while, where the systems and data is being manipulated. Now, last 5, 7 years, like the rest of the world, my focus has been on AI. And basically, I'm trying to build resilient AI algorithms. And even when they are manipulated, that could stay resilient.
Sujati.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sujata Mandal from Grad School of Engineering and Assistant Professor of Instruction. As a researcher, I am motivated to solve a very critical issue of water contamination. Water is the essence of life, but it is affected the most when we have a disaster. Think of a community where there is a flood, earthquake, and wildfire. That time, what happens? Infrastructure is damaged. We do not have any conventional water purification system. That time, my research comes into play. As a researcher, I am developing a sustainable, affordable, energy efficient, point of use water purification technology, which can save life, clean water, and empower communities.
Fantastic. Bora.
Yeah. Hi. Hello. Yeah. Sorry about that. So I'm a new assistant professor in Texas State University in the Department of Computer Science. I'm the PI of SPARTS Lab, Scientific Prediction through AI Research Knowledge and Simulation. Prior to joining Texas State, I was at Brown University doing my postdoc under the supervision of Professor George Karniadakis. So I work with AI models where you need to make critical scientific decisions where you cannot afford to make a mistake. So I develop models that respects the science within it and use it for important decision making science. So I work with a different number of application areas, starting from biomedicine to climate science, metamaterial synthesis, prediction of extreme events, and also on smart route optimization. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Christopher Reyes, Texas State alumni, math department, 2014. After Texas State, I went to Duke University, got my PhD in chemistry, and went on to Rice and got my postdoc in material science and mechanical engineering, nanoengineering. Right now, I'm the CTO of Material Hybrid Manufacturing. We're an advanced manufacturing company who makes batteries in any shape, any size, any form. We're helping solve America's battery dependency problem. We don't make any well, we make very few batteries a year. The majority of them come from China and elsewhere overseas. And we're trying to bring that back to Texas specifically. So that way we have a new way of making batteries so we're not depending on other.
Solving a lot of problems. Well, to hear your work deals with decision making under uncertainty and adversarial AI. Well, for people like me, not in your field, how do we see these ideas impacting everyday life and everyday people?
So I guess the reality is that we all make decisions, right? We all make decisions under uncertainty. That has been happening probably, since the early days of civilization, back to the ancient Egyptians even. So, and now that we have been interacting with AI, but most of us don't necessarily ask the question if the tools, systems that we are interacting with or utilizing, sometimes outsourcing decision making, are being potentially manipulated. So that's the main question we are trying to answer. So we have moved overall from past the question, has AI been useful or has AI been smart, to has AI been potentially robust or resilient, especially under pressure. So we have been coming up with algorithms that can first detect and understand potential issues and then proactively basically make us ready for potential manipulations.
Sujata, your research connects advanced materials with sustainability and energy efficiency. You use nanotechnology in your research. What does that mean and how does that help clean water?
My research leverage nanotechnology. When I use the word nanotechnology, it seems maybe a little bit complex, but believe me, it is not so. So it is that my research, what I do, I try to make advanced sustainable materials using nanotechnology, where I make nanomaterials. These nanomaterials are extremely small. Just try to imagine they may be smaller, maybe 1000 part of the human hair. So those materials become very powerful. They become very effective and efficient. As a result, they can remove wide range of contaminants, starting from heavy metals like lead, cadmium, chromium, nickel, and other metals, and even toxic dyes, as well as pharmaceuticals, pesticide, and pathogens. So they what the other non-conventional water treatment systems that they cannot do, these nanomaterials can solve those.
Right, right. I don't understand it, but I love it. It's great. Well, Bora, you work at the intersection of physics and machine learning and scientific computing. Can you give us some examples of how your research in scientific machine learning can actually be applied and how we can maybe see some of that come to
Sure.
fruition?
Yeah, so I'll give you two examples, one in a very complex scenario and one which is very simple. So, hello, yeah, okay. So the first example, it's about a recent work where we are developing a physics-informed energy efficient risk routing algorithm for commercial ships. So what it basically does is it makes decision making for how these commercial fleets can avoid, steeper waves and save fuel while doing it. So we are optimizing it not only for faster destination, but also saving the fuel and avoiding the hull creaks damage, right? And the importance of scientific machine learning comes in here because you don't have enough data for deploying this in the ocean, right? So you need to be prepared for information which you're not trained for, and that's where scientific machine learning comes in, right? So it respects the physics, so you always make a decision which makes sense and not always is dependent on the data it's trained on. So that's one of the complicated example, and one of the recent one that I think everybody can relate is on smart waste management. So we developed a RL agent that actually determines what should be the optimal day to pick up your wastes. Right now we have a weekly schedule which is works out for some places and doesn't work out so much for many of the places, right? So we developed a RL agent that actually optimizes the waste collection scheduling with a very efficient pickup and no cases of overfill. So that's what like scientific machine learning, that's why it's important, because it comes into picture from our everyday life, from very simple problems to the one very complex tasks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Super important. Well, and Chris, your path went from Texas State as a student to PhD researcher and now startup founder at Star Park. Can you describe the moment that you realized that when your research became a company and just a little bit about your path?
Yeah, I'll start with the path. Texas State really set me up for success. I did a couple of summer research internships. I did one at Duke University where I ended up going for grad school. I also did one at Rice University where I ended up doing my postdoc. And so they helped lay the foundation. It was in grad school when I realized that the dream I had of 3D printing batteries could actually be real once I got it to work. Then I worked on it in the background for a while. And it wasn't until about, I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, when all the pieces started coming together. The industry, additive manufacturing industry, was really advanced, and I could get all the pieces of equipment that I needed. And there was a big success and big innovations in material science, thanks to researchers like these, that I was able to take advantage of. But then the final piece was when I connected with Star Park. Once I made all the unit economics work and it looked good on paper that I actually had a pretty good idea, I reached out to Star Park. My former chemistry advisor was the interim director at the time, and she introduced me to Star Park, showed me how it worked, and got me plugged in. And that was about 3.5 years ago. We've been going strong ever since.
Talk a little bit about the resources that you have at Star Park and what Star Park is for people that might not know about that.
Yeah, Star Park's this accelerator where they offer lab space and commercial space for startup companies that work with Texas State University. Me being an alumni, that was one of the things that got me in. But they offer, it's a well maintained facility. It's got great world class lab space. But the other thing that it offers is direct connection to Texas State. Within a month, I was able to hire some interns, really good interns that I had working in the lab. I keep a steady stream of interns and undergrads, and now I have a pipeline where I have a PhD student who's working in my lab. He's working part time to full time hourly, but once summer comes around, he graduates, and then we turn him into a scientist full time. And so we're working on that pipeline right now. I also have an undergraduate who's in her senior year, and as soon as she graduates this summer, she'll come on as a full time chemist. So that's been key, is having direct access to well-trained chemists and engineers.
Well, and from the classroom to to industry is really what Texas State is all about. And to hear you're as the founding director for the Center of Analytics and Data Science, how do you connect academic research, which a lot of people might think it's the ivory tower, and what does it mean to me? How do you connect that with real world problems like we've heard today?
So we launched the center 2 years ago, and our starting point was that we have data science, AI folks, and we have many subject domain folks utilizing these algorithms in their own silo. So can we have a university level structure that would almost serve as like a launch pad that would also connect them with industry and their colleagues across the university? So that was our starting point. And overall, in the last year, for instance, we had 37 faculty across 17 different departments work with us to submit external funding proposals. And we have almost reached more than 1,000 students through our programming. We also have this National Science Foundation funded Expand AI initiative. And the main objective is to take the AI from the basic, even just the tools or the academic research, to embed it into different use areas. So, but it all starts with the pain point, right? And we are lucky through our industry advisory boards and our industry partners, we are able to understand what the pain points could be and then connect them with our interdisciplinary faculty and students. So that seems to be working. We want to do more of it. And especially right now with the emergence of AI, I think there are many potential areas.
And is it right now only the science and the hard sciences working with you, or are you cut across other areas?
So this is a university level center. So again, we have folks from criminal justice, from agriculture, from engineering, geography, from biology. They're all working together. So it's not necessarily one discipline. These 17 units actually are across 6 colleges.
Right. Well, and Sujata and Bora kind of pitch a question to you. When you think about the applications of your work, whether it's energy systems or climate change, or what industries are most likely to adopt those innovations first, and what are you going for?
Yes, since my research is more focused on water purification, especially during the disaster. So, the main industries which we are thinking about is like Texas search and rescue, emergency responders, army, maybe water utility departments, the emergency units. These are the most evident places where we are going to target our discovery and innovations.
And have you seen some interest from those?
Yes, just I want to add that we have signed a non-disclosure agreement with a medium-sized water purification company, as well as we are in discussion with the Texas Search and Rescue, where they are willing to do a pilot scale, provided we have certain efficient materials we have and we can fulfill that. So we are in the conversation with the CEO.
Nice, nice. Hey, Bora, how about you?
Uh,
You're here for Southwest looking for funding, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since I'm new here, I'm trying to establish my contacts here, and I'd especially mention shout out to Starpart because they have helped me to bring my research from from papers to something which is deployable. So that's something very important that I found here, and also recently the Bobcat Catalyst Innovation Program. That's also something that I would like to give a shout out to, which is helping me commercialize or take my research from the traditional academia to something which industry will be interested in. On the same line, for the energy efficient routing algorithm that I just spoke about, we already filed on the process of filing a provisional patent and looking for partners for maritime shipping. And since I work in scientific machine learning, so it's the core algorithm that drives the process, right? So the application area is from any kind of industry that is actually using scientific process for decision making. So yeah, so that's one of the key thing that's
So,
yeah.
so shipping containers to all kinds of things that do with waste management, but transport as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And we are currently like trying to get that algorithm for inland water transport also, and also to the aerospace industry. So yeah.
Well, and one of the things that's so special about Texas State is the fact that we can integrate our students into a lot of our research. And Chris, you're the perfect example. Can you talk a little bit more about what was the spark that got you involved? And then how are you then? You mentioned earlier that you've got interns and everything, but how are those students contributing to your work?
Yeah, they contribute in a lot of ways. The Texas State's engineering program is really great, where I'm getting interns that have technician and entry level engineer experience. They have really good hands-on experience. And so the first round of interns helped me physically build our machine. We have an advanced machine that can actually 3D print batteries. And then I have another set of interns that's in the chemistry lab, and they're helping me actually grow our nanomaterials. We synthesize our own nanomaterials. And so they're in the lab, actually hands on, getting things done. It's been very, very helpful.
Laura, how about you? How are you using students?
Oh, so that's a great question. Actually, when I started teaching here, right? So I always motivate the students that in today's world, the classroom has changed. Grades and degrees doesn't matter anymore. It's on what skills you have and how you can make it useful. So what I do is I try to introduce practical projects with real world data that gives them an exposure on what they are looking into once they get the degree. So yeah, I always give them project based classroom teaching where they have to answer this real world decision making process. And I try to bring in those kind of data set which when they work on, there will be potential for them to, kind of talk to industry or talk to some kind of other partners who are interested in those kind of decision making process. So I think students are the hearts of our research. No matter how big or how small things we do, students are the one that makes it possible. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Sujata? Do you have a student working with you that you can brag about?
Yes, I just wanted to add that day before yesterday, we joined the World Tech Connect innovation, and I had 5 students. Out of that, I just want to mention 3 of them were undergraduate.
Yeah.
And 2 of them had a oral presentation, 3 of them had poster presentation, and an undergraduate student got the best student award. So I think that speaks a lot for our students, and I'm so thankful to Texas State leadership that they support not only to the faculties as well as to the students.
And I think people think it's always master's or PhD students, but we've got undergrads that are in the labs working with the innovation. And you too, you have that in your area?
Yep. I guess especially one of our focus areas, as you would know, is undergraduate research, right? So we want to involve our students early so that either it would basically help their careers, but some of them also may end up staying for graduate school and having a research career as well. But being involved in these experiential learning projects, research projects, give them that real world experience. And we are also trying to involve industry partners as much as possible. And that also creates that workforce development pipeline, which becomes a win-win for both our students as well as our industry partners. So at the center, we also do this analytics showcase, for instance, where students from different disciplines present their and basically data and AI related research. But in the university, across the university, there are many opportunities like that where they also get to present and they get feedback. So I think that's an important part of their time in at Texas State.
And I know we've done that in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and we've sent under Cindy Royal's leadership, we've sent students here to South by to actually learn the cutting edge innovation of what's going on. And so we have done that. We sent a student last week to our regional conference, and finding the funding is key. And I know that many researchers struggle with translating ideas from the lab to real world. But at Texas State, we've talked about Star Park, but the Office of Innovation, Commercialization, and Engagement. Have you guys had some experience with that? Bora, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, as I was saying, for our energy routing algorithm, like tech transfer office help me to understand all the process, and we are on the verge of filing the provisional patent, which I did not had any idea because prior to this I was just in an academic environment. So this is really great help, like to make us understand what's the process from going from the lab in a university to something that has kind of marketing value and funds involved. So yeah, that's been a lot. Yeah.
Well, and I think the Bob Catalyst
Yes.
training programs.
Yeah.
You've had some experience with that, Sujata.
Yes, so I am the recipient of the first time Texas State Bob Catalyst proof of concept grant.
Good.
So, like, it is a kind of a privilege to receive that grant. That grant actually will help me to refine my research, recruit student, and do a workforce development, set up their skills, and maybe to do a testing as soon as possible. Apart from that, I want to add that we have different accelerator programs also, which support faculties. Then we can do pitch competition. I won one of the pitch competition and I started a startup. So I am so thankful to the Office of Research and Innovation and Entrepreneurship to kind of support faculties so that we can bring whatever we are doing in the lab, the discoveries to the real world.
Well, I think Texas State's really putting its money where its mouth is to really make this happen. It costs money to do all this, right?
Definitely, definitely. And as an addendum to what my colleagues were suggesting, for instance, in the world of AI, most of you now have been recognizing or basically have heard at least once that there is a difference between the AI outputs that we are getting, but actionable AI outputs and actionable AI outcomes. So how do we bridge that, right? How do we make the outputs useful for the use case? And these type of programs help us stress test some of the ideas and see basically how they would resonate. So they almost provide a basically initial testing area where faculty and students learn how to fail and iterate and get to the applicable basically iteration.
Well, that's a great point, and I always think that with students to really learn that it's okay to fail. What have you experienced that in your life? And this is I'm throwing you a different question, but how have you failed and then come out in a different place, a better place? You have an example, Laura?
Sure. My initial choice of line in my career was physics, but because of how much was the cutoff percentage back in India, I did not make it to my first choice, which was physics. I made it to my second choice, which was maths, and I'm grateful that I did not get physics because maths is the language of the universe. So if you know your maths, you can work in any field because that's what the language science talks. So yeah, so I think like sometimes failure works in your favor, and also it gives you a different perspective on how things look like, right? So and that is very important. And I feel like it's more exciting to fail and learn than to just keep learning because then you don't see the important message on your work, right? So when you fail, you see the true value of what you are getting, and that makes it precious.
That's true. I love that. Hey, Chris, on in that vein, how have you found the faculty at Texas State? I mean, was it something that really connected you there, and did someone see something in you?
It really was. One thing Texas State offers is great mentorship. Uh, Dr. William Britton, he was the head of the chemistry department for a while. He was one of my main mentors, and we stayed in contact all the way from my undergrad till now. We still talk regularly, and he was the one that connected me to one of my other chemistry professors who was at Star Park. And so they've done really well at making connections. A lot of the connections I made over the year have been from the Texas State faculty and staff, making the connections to other universities and other co-founders and collaborators.
I always say that at Texas State, it's really all about the people, and it really does. We care about students, we care about faculty, we care about innovation. Sujata, have you experienced that where a certain connection made a difference for you?
Definitely. My background is physics. I had a double major in physics and chemistry. Coming to this country, I did my PhD in mechanical and energy engineering. That gave me a leverage to actually bring the research to the real world applications. So I think that is a great advantage for any kind of researchers to bring their innovations to the market.
So the path wasn't exactly clear.
Yes.
Kind of moved around here, moved back. Yeah.
Yes, because the having physics actually developed my concepts, so I can easily work on engineering and their applications. So I think I have done a great choice.
How about you, Tahir?
I guess our pets are never linear, right? So, from the outside, it looks like you get from A to B, but there are many detours, and then I guess we find a way overall. But one of the things, I guess, with Texas State is that we really represent the state of Texas when you think about it, both in terms of demographics and we have quite a number of first generation students. And now I have been teaching at Texas State 15 years. And one of the things I'm noticing is our students have the grit and they are flexible and adaptable. And it happens to be the case that for most of them, their first choice ideal scenario may not have worked out, but they adjust and they find a way. And I'm proud and honored to be part of their journey in that sense. But in my research, I was talking about I'm working on AI resilience, but you also see that human resilience, basically as an example, that also motivates how we model these basically systems, right?
Well, I hear that from employers all the time that students know how to work. Our students are the ones that people want to hire. And it's the resilience, it's the grit, it's the faculty that help them kind of get from point A to point B. I think that's super important. Well, and I want to do a quick lightning round with you guys. In a sentence or two, what innovation or breakthrough do you personally hope to be working on and talking about here at South by Southwest next year? Chris, you want to start with that?
Yeah, personally, I would like to be talking about a breakthrough in energy density, that I've created batteries that now perform better, cheaper, made locally. That's one big innovation that I'd like to push forward. Another one, a bigger picture, is that heck, next year we're up here celebrating companies that we've spun up that were inspired from this day forward. I think that would be great.
How about you, Bora?
So my one is a pretty far-fetched one. So even though we talk about artificial intelligence, all these algorithms are based on pattern, whatever they learn from pattern, right? So my aim is to create a algorithm that truly understands the science, and I think that's will be the foundation for true artificial intelligence rather than what we call currently artificial intelligence. So that's something I'm looking forward to, and I'm working on that direction.
Sujata.
Since my one of my innovations is already waiting for patent pending, so maybe I am waiting to figure out a way so that the most of the communities are using a powerful nano reusable filters next year. And maybe I can walk in with a pocket size filter and show, hey, this is a filter. You can use it and during the disaster.
That'd be great. That'd be great. How about you, Tahir?
So I have been last few years, I've been working on combining my background expertise in fraud analytics and artificial intelligence. So I have also provisional patent on a product focusing on fraud detection, which doesn't only detect patterns, but which also assumes that there is a smart adversary on the other side. So what really happens is that with all this fraud detection, we notice fraud after the fact, and it becomes too late. They already would have even left the country. So it's tough to recover those overpayments. So what we try to do, we want to build a framework where you already assume there is a smart person on the other side and proactively adjust your framework so that they wouldn't be able to do their intentions. So, just as an example, you may have heard about Fraud GPT. I mean, fraudsters are smart. They are utilizing these tools, but our existing algorithms don't take that into account. So, basically, we want to incorporate it into our existing framework.
And another question along sort of these future lines then. What do you want your audience to know more about Texas State and the way that Texas State is moving innovation forward? Chris?
I'd like everybody to know that Texas State offers a platform to really advance and accelerate innovation and commercialization of technologies. They have a great commercialization material science program. I've been working with them closely on that, and they've been a really good fire starter for companies wanting to come out and start and accelerate in Texas.
How about you, Laura?
Yeah, same thing. Like when I joined, like the energy, the rush, the support that they are giving new faculty is amazing. And I think with this support and along with the contribution of Star Park in commercializing our technology is I think sky is the limit. And I'm pretty sure Texas State will be there very soon.
And Bora's only been here since August, so he's new to Texas.
Yeah,
And he hasn't been here that long, so he's really kind of experienced it.
yeah. It's been just 8 months, and I have seen a lot, bro. And it's really amazing. And special shout out to Matt and Yatin and Emma for giving this opportunity to like share our experience. And they are like kind of the part of the family that we belong to.
Shout out to them over there. Woo! How about you, Sujat?
I think Texas State University is one of the wonderful platform for our students to become innovators, researchers, entrepreneurs, so that they can bolster the finance of the Texas state as well as to US as a whole.
I would say, obviously, we are growing fast, right? Above average rates, but it's also intentional growth. I mean, it's happening very fast. While we are increasing our research enterprise, we are also not leaving students behind. So I think that's an important distinction. So overall, I think future is bright, and also thanks to the support of the state, I think we are in a good position, and so many problems to solve.
Well, and again, maybe sort of a final question as we kind of wind down, but how much does R1 impact this to become a Research One university? And again, Chris, you've got your PhD. You're all sitting up here coming from different places. What does it look like, or what will it look like when Texas State is a Research One university? How will that help your research? Will it change? We will not lose the student-centered focus. And that's the secret sauce. That's what makes it special. How do you think the R1 is going to impact that?
I think it makes Texas State more attractive and increases the quality of students that we attract. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm sure it has other implications for funding and grant sources as well, but I think one of the biggest one is attracting good students.
Yeah, I think in the similar way that will create the impact and make people look into Texas State more. Even though personally I don't believe R1, R2 has a potential kind of effect on research because it's all about what you do, right? But given the status, since there is a bias, I think that's a very good thing to have in the picture that attracts better students, better faculties, and altogether pushes a university even further. So that's my take on it.
I think Texas State University will have more visibility, will attract more talents, will have access to more grants. And yes, I think we will have a great future.
So yeah, overall, I think it's more of a recognition of what we already have been doing in the especially decade or so. But overall, it will open more doors, more both for our students and faculty, and I think it will also help us becoming more of a national brand. I think that additional visibility would benefit us.
And the Pac-12, they say, is a big deal. So we're excited. Everybody excited about the Pac-12? Yeah? Yeah. Let's hear it for the Pac-12. That's kind of a double whammy there. It's going to be fantastic. Well, as we kind of wrap out to the end of this, what's your final, do you have a closing comment you want to give about how the innovation corridor is coming and the part you're playing in that, the problem you're trying to solve? Chris?
I'm trying to show that Texas State is in a great location. Strategically, we're right in the energy corridor, direct access to 35 between two airports, close to I-10. And it makes it a very good starting point for starting companies and innovating on technology.
Yeah. Since Texas State is growing, I think it's the right time to invest because everyone is working hard. Everyone has a bigger target. I think everyone is putting their best effort to get it on the map.
Yeah, we have a very strategic position. We are running for R1. So this is the best place to grow. And I think the research is happening. We have a lot of new PhD programs coming up with the new talents. And we are there for the workforce development and skill setup and all those things.
Right. So when we talk about innovation corridor, obviously we are at the center of it between San Antonio and Austin, and even also our round track presence. It places us in a unique position. But overall, I think being in state of Texas, I mean, this is a place where people want to be, right? And especially now is the time of South by. We are hearing those conversations more often, right? But overall, in research, most of the problems start with people, right? With pain points, and you would want motivated people to work with that who wants their problems to be solved, and industry partners who are happy to be here, who are motivated. And I think we are seeing all those factors for successful interdisciplinary collaborations and solutions.
Well, again, a great story to tell, a great story about innovation, about research, about student success, and about faculty involvement. So I want to thank you all. Let's give them all a round of applause, everyone. Great panel. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.